Hello, Bots and Books fans, this is Scorp1701, and tonight we're going to be taking a look at the Walmart exclusive Transformers R.E.D. Bumblebee. And R.E.D. meaning Robot Enhanced Design, and this is the controversial line of Transformers that don't actually transform. And I think when we finish the review tonight, there'll be another complaint I want to add to the list, but before we start on a negative, let's go ahead and jump into the box. As you can see, it is done in a nice red box. You have R.E.D. up here, Robot Enhanced Design, plus Transformers Generation symbol there, Transformers, Hasbro, Bumblebee, Transformers, and you can see Bumblebee looking all cool right here on the side of the box, and that artwork does carry over, and you can see a little bit of yellow flecking off into this nice yellow streaks up off the box, and some more red up here. So that is awesome picture of Bumblebee. On the top you have just Transformers. On this side you can see an open window with all the characters' accessories. You have a gun, some plasma burst, some hands, an Energon Cube, but we will take a look at that later. On the bottom of the box you just have some credits for the box and a barcode, so that is interesting. And finally on the back of the box you have some awesome product shots of what Bumblebee looks like holding his gun again, gun with laser effects, his head, more laser effects, the Energon Cube, and some more credits for the box, authentic Transformer symbol, and it's from Hasbro. So that is pretty much it for the box. No one wants to see this awesome Bumblebee figure in the box. I know I don't. So let's get him out and see what he can do. And here we have Bumblebee out of the box. And out of the box he stands at approximately 6 inches tall, maybe a little taller, from the top of his horns here to the bottom of his feet. He comes with a set of alternate hands, 2 blast effects, a laser pistol, and an Energon Cube, and we'll take a look at all that later. It also has this neat little background back there that has some diagrams and schematics of what he looks like. It's kind of goes along with the, robot enhanced design. But before we take a look at anything, I want to take a look at Bumblebee himself. And coming real close in on Bumblebee, you can see he has his very traditional G1 look. He has his little horns coming off of his helmet, nice blue eyes, a white face, coming down to a nice yellow chest. You can see a little bit of black for the windshields of his VW Bug mode there, and on the sides you got some wind. Got a little bit of battle damage, it looks like here. Autobot symbol there, really nice. Got some nice black shoulders coming down to some yellow forearms with some black hands. Got a little bit of black in here for the midsection, and for the pelvis it's all yellow. Got a little bit of design in there. Black legs coming down to some nice yellow boot type things for the feet. A little bit of black here, which would be the bumper of the car. So that is cool. So we're going to turn him around. On the back you can see there's a little bit of design here too. The back of the head, really nice, and you got a little tire equipped there, and pretty much the same. You do have a little breakup of the color here in the calves, or whatever you want to call that, with the gray, so that is pretty neat. But pretty much that is your color scheme. You got some more battle damage silver on the forearms there, but anyway, that is your color scheme and what Bumblebee looks like, and I think they did a really good job with this guy's design and colors. Alright, moving on. And for articulation, he does have quite a lot. Starting at the head will go around 360 degrees. You get a little bit of wiggly waggly in it. It doesn't really move other than that, which, you don't really need it to. It doesn't come off or anything. You have some shoulder articulation that goes all the way around 360 degrees, and there is a hinge at the top of the shoulder that will allow your arm to come out. So that is pretty neat. Comes all the way up to there. And when you have it all the way out here, you can see on the inside there is some more articulation that will kind of move it forward and backward, so there's a little bit of articulation there. When you come to bring that back down from this top hinge, it's going to be a little tricky, but you're going to have to kind of push up and in at the same time, but that will get you back to where you need to be. All right. He does have a bicep swivel. It goes all the way around 360 degrees. He does have an elbow bend, which will give you, almost completely all the way up. So that is very good. For bicep articulation, there's nothing there because it's just all built onto this hinge. And for his hand, it does go all the way around, and it does go in and out, so it does give you a little wiggly waggly there. So that is good for articulation when it comes to the arms and hands. Coming to the chest, now this is where the figure kind of is disappointing. When it comes to the chest, this chest piece will come off, so I guess that's part of the articulation. So you can take this off, and then you have a little bit of detail here, so that is pretty cool. A little bit of grays and silvers in there. And here you see an ab joint, and so yes, he does have ab crunch if you do it from here, but you got to take the chest off. So I don't really think that should count, because if you want him to, you know, crunch forward, you kind of want to have his chest there when he's doing it, so I don't particularly care for that. On the back, you can see the joint here, so that it goes up, so that is cool, but I don't know if I like the fact that, you know, it can't do it with the chest on. So I'm gonna put this back on here like such. That's good. And he does have waist articulation. It will go all the way around 360 degrees. And when we get to the back, which is actually back with the front legs, but the tire here is removable if you're so inclined to do that and you don't want the tire on his back. You can have a clean back, so that is a neat little option that they give you there. So go that back, and that brings us down to the legs. So the legs can come up, they can go back, they can kind of go out to the side, so you got a little bit of, you got some good motion there. He does have a thigh rotation all the way around 360 degrees, and he does have a super knee bend, sort of like the elbow bend. So this thing gets you some really good motion, so I'm very happy about that. And that brings you down to what we'd call the boot cut. There's nothing really here on the boot cut, so you go down to the foot. The foot is on this ball hinge, so it can go swivel to the inside, and you got a huge rocker like that, and it can go all the way around like that, so that is cool. And it's kind of also hinged up and down, so you can bring it up. Let's get it back into the right position. So you can bring it up to like that, to your toe tilt, and you kind of bring it back. So rocking that. So there is a lot of good articulation again with this foot that you can do. So as far as articulation, with the exception of the chest, I think they did a real good job with that. So that is it for Bumblebee's articulation. Moving on. And for accessories, you have an alternate set of hands, which come as closed punching hands, and they are really nicely done. They just pop right in there, and they are on hinges, so they can move and are articulate, so they can go up and down, left and right, however you want to get it. And now you can have Bumblebee punching things. So, you know, every good Autobot needs to punch things. Yeah! And that is it for his alternate hands. And for his next accessory, he has a laser blaster, and it's really nicely done. And this is basically the standard Bumblebee type blaster. It always has this kind of weird diagonal thing here and a slanted barrel, so that is cool. It's just done in gray plastic. You just got a lot of molded detail in there, no paint or anything, but that will play into his next accessories, which are these nice blast effects. And you have a nice yellow blast effect here. This is kind of a short one, and you also have a longer one. So, you know, don't let them say anything. Size does matter when it comes to blasts. I guess, I don't know. They're basically yellow translucent plastic or rubbery plastic, so they're kind of soft, and they will basically plug into the barrel of the gun, so you can have different types of blasting. Like, that's a nice one. And then you can have a shorter blast, like, so actually I think that looks better. Alright, and that is it for his blaster and blast effects. And for his final accessory, he has an Energon Cube. It's nice, it's pink, it's solid, and it's an Energon Cube, and that's pretty much all there is to say about it. There's nothing really special. I mean, he can try to hold it on his forearm or something. There's not any good handholds, and he doesn't really have a good way to maybe transport it, but you know, it's an Energon Cube, and I don't know how he could try to do this. I mean, if you kind of put it like that, no, he's still going to drop it. So, I don't know. Just get a bunch of these and stack them up somewhere. That would look really cool as it's kind of in the background. So, yay. Can't go wrong with Energon Cubes. And that is his accessories. And that brings us to the part of the video that's going to irk me, and that would be the comparisons. Here he is with the Transformers Walmart exclusive Netflix Bumblebee, and you can see there's quite a little height difference there, but that's okay. This is technically a standard action figure. You know, the robot enhanced designs are supposed to be more, you know, action figure orientated, so you can see and just take advantage of the robot version and not have to clutter everything up with the engineering of transformation. Alright, get out of here, Netflix Bumblebee. And for another Bumblebee comparison, here he is with the Masterpiece Bumblebee. And you can see he even is bigger than the Masterpiece Bumblebee. So, you know, again, not too bad because we're not talking about the same thing. This is a action figure, not to be loaded up with the engineering of transformation. Now, the problem does come in when we compare him with other members of the R.E.D. The only other Autobot I have for the R.E.D. is Optimus Prime, and here he is with Prime. So, as you can see, this is a problem for me. It may not be a problem for everybody, and some people may not care, but I'm kind of a stickler for scale, or at least some, you know, a semblance of scale. Now, it's not going to be perfect no matter what, but there is no world that Bumblebee is almost the same height as Optimus Prime and is definitely bulkier than him in the chest. This looks like the scale was jumped up a little bit and even out. So if this was the same scale as Prime, Bumblebee's chest should be kind of smaller, even if he was at the same height. But it's not. The scale is completely off with this, which makes Bumblebee huge compared to Prime. And I don't like that. I think Bumblebee needed to come up to like about here on Prime. I mean, that's even, you know, pushing it. If we bring back in the Netflix Bumblebee, see, that's, I think that's still a little too big. I think if you're looking at this scale, Bumblebee needs to be really about here to Prime. That's just how I've always imagined it. So definitely this is too big, and I'm not exactly sure what you could do about that. In fact, you can even bring in some others. Here's Megatron. Whoa, you've been eating your spinach? Ho ho ho, little one, pow! Oh. So yeah, Bumblebee is not supposed to be this big. Now, if they made the scale of the line all this size to where this is Bumblebee's size, and Prime was like way up here, or, well, you can't see me, but way up there, then I think it would be fine. But as it stands, this scale is terrible, and I can't really abide it, and it's not going to get better. Now you're saying, well, that account for the $20 price point. I get it. These are $20 figures, and Bumblebee is naturally a smaller figure, but then break him in half and give us 2 mini bots. Give us him and Cliffjumper, him and Brawn, him and Gears. You had the option to do that, and I think if you made the smaller bots 2 to a pack, that would still get you your $20 price point, and I think it would make a lot more people happy. So as it stands, what are you going to do with this thing when it comes to scale and comparison? Well, you can't leave it in the red line because it doesn't obviously fit. You can't put it in the Chug line, the Kingdom, the Earthrise, or the Siege, because again, it's too big. And we saw the Bumblebee Masterpiece, which was smaller than this, and if I was to bring in the MP44 or the knockoff version, you still kind of got a good size there, but I don't know. I still think that Bumblebee might be a little big for that being Prime. So I don't know. Bring in the Transform Element Prime. Of course, they're pretty much the same size. It's a little better, but still. And the only thing that I could think of that actually may work is the Wei Jing MPP-10 Prime. And that was the oversized version of Optimus, and from the MP-10 mold. So that actually would, I think, work a lot better. So that is your scale, I think, because that's where Bumblebee should be, according to his height to Prime. I could be wrong. If you guys have better suggestions or you think differently, please leave me a comment and let me know, because I don't know. This is the best comparison scale wise that I think we got. All right, moving on. And this has been the Walmart exclusive Transformers R.E.D. Bumblebee Robot Enhanced Design. And this figure is kind of a mixed bag for me. I love the way it looks. I love the way it moves. The articulation is awesome for such a little figure. The paint, I'm not so crazy about the battle damage, but you know, I kind of got used to it with Siege and Earthrise. The accessories are okay. Energon Cube, take it or leave it. Blast effects are always good. Alternate hands, you gotta have punching hands, so that is good. And obviously the blaster is a definitely must have. The question comes down to, would I recommend you buying this? And I think it comes down to what you plan to do with it. If you want to add it to your R.E.D. collection, then no, don't. Because this doesn't even fit in the R.E.D. collection because it's so much bigger and not to scale with the other figures. If you want to buy this Bumblebee for a standalone statuesque figure to add to your masterpiece shelf or your oversized shelf, then yeah, I think that will work. If you're a Bumblebee fan and you just love the Bumblebee character, yeah, go ahead, pick him up, put him on your desk at work or school, or put him on your shelf, whatever you want to do with it. The figure itself is awesome. The problem is, where does it go? And I don't have a good answer for that. So if you like Bumblebee, you like the figure, go ahead and pick it up and buy it. If you're trying to add it to your collection to have him stand with other bots, I don't think you're gonna have a good option there. So he's out of scale, but he's great. So I don't know. I think this is going to be my last R.E.D. figure. We have Super 7 on the way with their renditions of Transformers that don't transform, that are basically action figures. So we will try them. I've already got 2 on pre-order, so we'll see. And maybe Bumblebee here will fit well in that line. But as far as the regular R.E.Ds, no. Unless they've just upped the scale during this second wave, I don't think so. I noticed Bumblebee was a lot bigger in the package than the others on the shelf. Even that's including the RC from Transformers Prime and the Cheetor from Beast Wars. So yeah, I think they kind of missed the mark with Bumblebee. Even though it's a great figure and he does a lot of great stuff, he just doesn't fit to scale, and that's really important to me. Maybe it is to you too, but anyway, that's the review, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, keep playing.